This video is going to be a film study look at the incredible impact that Jameson Williams had in the Lions' 26-20 win over the Rams on Sunday Night Football to open the NFL season. David Montgomery took over the offensive line, and David Montgomery took over in overtime, so Jameson Williams perhaps didn't have anything to do with that. I do think it's interesting that they ran a reverse twice last night, once with Jameson Williams, once with Khalif Raymond, both of which was for 12 or 13 yards. In any case, Williams had what some would consider a career day, 5 catches, 112 yards, I believe, 113 or so. 1 touchdown, beating Tre'Davious White on like a stutter go up the left sideline. All still a little bit underthrown, if you ask me. We'll get to the film here in a minute. I got to tell you that it was exciting to see him succeed on Sunday night for him personally. Don't know the guy at all, but just he's a 23-year-old kid. I'm old, so I get to call him a kid. He's an adult, obviously, but he's a 23-year-old young man who has had some pressure put on him, criticism levied at him, and has had injury difficulties that have made things tremendously difficult to succeed in the NFL. I thought he played exceptionally well for a 5, 6, 7-week stretch to finish 2023, branching over into the playoffs from a standpoint of making big plays. And he picked right up with that in week 1 against the Rams. The Rams defense was playing at a high level. They were playing fast, aggressive, missing some players, missing some starting corners. Darius Williams, high-level guy, if you ask me, that they brought back from the Jags. I don't think any of those guys that they had healthy could have matched up with Williams. The type of routes that he was running. Jared Goff, I think, at times on the deep balls has got to maybe put the ball a little further out there. It's kind of like you can't really overestimate Jameson Williams' speed. I'm sure over the course of the last couple of years there's some examples of overthrows that would maybe refute that. But look, things certainly did not start off well for the Lions offense, and for large stretches of the game had difficulty running the ball. And at times I thought the Rams pass rush was able to get in there on Jared Goff and make things difficult. This is going to be one of the patented routes for Jameson Williams, at least from week 1, and I like it. You got him lined up out wide, and he's running across the field, forcing a defender to run with him, which is damn near impossible to do. But in this case, the Rams are kind of switching this off because they have to. There's just no way for number 14, the outside corner, to deal with him. So he's going to pass this off to 37. I think that's Hall, who is still in trail. Nonetheless, Byron Young is able to get a sack on a stunt, basically a switch rush from the right-hand side of the Lions offense, get a sack. First possession, 3 and out for the Lions. Second possession, able to generate a field goal. Missed opportunity maybe, but look, I credit Goff for actually throwing this ball. It's a difficult window. In fact, I don't think there is a window. He's throwing it over the top of the window to Sam Laporta here on the backside. I believe that's Tre'Davious White locked up on him. You also have a free safety and 2 inside linebackers in the window. Goff is attempting to throw it over the top. So credit to him for attempting that throw. It shows the confidence he has in Laporta. I guess maybe I should have shown you the end zone angle so you could see that there really was no window there. He's trying to throw it basically an alley-oop. And in this situation, Laporta unable to come down with it. Up to the top side, I think Jameson Williams in the slot running a route towards the sideline. I would like, certainly doesn't look like he's open, but I'd like to see him be utilized in that way down in the red zone, stretch the limit in terms of figuring out what he's able to do. Started to have an impact on the third possession, quite obviously. This is going to be 36-yard reception from the top side. 11 personnel, but a 20 personnel well. But just to make sure my point is clear, this is a tight end, but he's lined up at fullback. So the personnel is 11, but the formation, I call it spread I. It's a I formation. So the personnel and formation are not the same thing. But in any case, Williams is bringing this route over the middle, and I believe from the backside, St. Brown is also bringing his, almost like these double crossers, but Williams is on the high side, number 1. Number 2, Goff. That is the window that Goff likes to hit. That's where Josh Reynolds did so much work. For those of you that have seen my work and videos on my channel for the better part of a year and a half about the Lions, Zone 4, I guess I call it, maybe inside linebackers up and create a larger window. Williams is running this route at such a depth that it doesn't matter. Number 1, number 2, neither one of these inside linebackers pressed vertical towards the line of scrimmage. So it's not like that window was created by the play action. It's actually created by the width between the safety, I think it's Curl, and the inside linebacker. Right in that lead there, you could see the explosiveness. You're going to get an incomplete pass. This is the same possession, by the way. pretty much a post route from the top side of the screen. I'm not able to draw it accurately because I don't have the whole screen to utilize. It'll be people like myself that try to evaluate the game, that occasionally that Ben Johnson will try to elicit a particular look from you by putting certain players on the field. In this case, I think you got Brock Wright and the fullback. Nonetheless, the Rams stay in their too high safety look, and it's fortunate for them that they do. I think that the safeties in this case end up helping out with defending this route. By Williams, you can see one safety rolled down, and it's the backside safety that plays a part in this. Goff is letting this go. I mean, there's not really anywhere else to go with the football unless he wants to bring this back to the fullback underneath. And so he takes a shot. Trust Jameson Williams, number one. We wish that he'd be able to put that ball a little bit more on target. The reverse is still the same possession, third possession that is, and the design is very similar to the reverse that they ran against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. You have a tight end. In this case, it's Brock Wright, who's going to start to move in this direction and then peel back to the front side to block for Jameson Williams. Running back with a little counter step, and that's a part of the design. We'll get to that in a minute, but the burst man, great usage for Jameson Williams. This is going to sound crazy. I don't know if he can throw the ball, but I hope he can. The reverses, I'm sure, have gotten people's attention. He had a touchdown on a reverse, a brilliant run against the 49ers in an AFC Championship game. And he's used it in week one, he being Ben Johnson. I'd like to see him throw the ball. I'm not sure how Ben Johnson will make it happen, but I've talked about this before on some of this reverse stuff. You get a little counter step by the back, and then he's coming back here. That is all designed to sync up with the timing of the receiver, in this case, Jameson Williams, and the H-back / tight end. They're trying to make it look like F counter, and so there's a delayed nature of it. Look at the inside linebacker here. He's beginning to move in this direction. He has not moved as far as that line that I just drew, but it was just illustration purposes so you could see him, and now you clearly can see him step downhill, so he does not need to be blocked. That's the whole point. They're trying to draw him away with the back's path, and in this case it works. I thought this was going to be a touchdown, but man, the effort that this dude gives, so you can see what I'm talking about. Going to be the front side inside linebacker, going to loop all the way over here, I think cross the midline. And you do have a puller here along with the play, so that is helping influence him in this direction. So really cool scheme. Almost ends up working out like a screen. And three guys in front. This is the same inside linebacker that stepped. I can't say stepped wrong. Look, Jameson Williams, with it, but that is significant burst for an inside linebacker. Look how far behind the play he is. I know that I've spent some over to the sideline, and one play later looked like he was pretty much ready to go back in. This is a third down. This is in the third quarter, first possession of the third quarter. I was quite disappointed here. You essentially have the same route from Jameson Williams on the backside, underneath, 3rd and 4, and I think it's a nice job by the inside linebacker once again to collision him. If Goff was to hold on to this just a moment further, it looks like you've potentially got a guy breaking open here away from that inside linebacker, but the inside linebacker's seeing Goff pull the pin on the grenade, so he's breaking on Jameson Williams. I thought there was 3 times last night where I don't want to say Goff threw the ball early because, look, that's one of his assets. That's one of his talents is to see the coverage, read it, react to and go through the progression, and then throw the football quickly. So we can't fault him for that. But I thought there was 3 different times where if he held onto the ball for a split second longer and maybe worked to the next guy, you were going to be in business. And what I mean is there on a 3rd and 4, if he goes to the next guy in the progression, I think you've probably got a first down and retain possession of the ball. That was an important possession for momentum, if you ask me. Even though later on, the 6th possession, this one here, about 10 and a half minutes left in the 3rd quarter, you end up getting a touchdown. Stutter, go. Look, Trey enjoyed calling these double moves because I don't see a double move. I see one, but it's a stutter go, so he's stuttering down, make it look like he's going to break. And long had done so much, but he's very accomplished and professional. He did a great job of breaking this with, details, nuance, and steps and footwork. I get into that a little bit where I understand it, but is it arm strength? I don't know. Is it underestimating Jameson Williams' speed? Perhaps. I think in this situation, Goff knows right now that it is there. And there's no review or my film study from the offseason extended film study of Jared Goff, and you'll see how highly I think of him. and that's coming from a Ravens fan. All right, 8th possession here, and we're going to get another big play to Jameson Williams back to the side where he originated from. So you're consistently getting these underneath routes that kind of get him the ball cheap and easy, if you will. I'd like to see at some point him bring this back to the sideline where he lined up from, China out, whip route, whatever you want to call it. Basically, as bait here, build this reaction from the offense. You do get play action that gets these guys moving in this direction at the inside linebacker level. Same play, end zone angle. We're talking about 51 here as the mic to the field. Excuse me. Play action. And I think sometimes that this is done, I call them lock on the backside, meaning lock up on the backside, to create this large window for the inside linebacker to see it. And in this case, he stepped just enough, crossed over. We would teach our guys who were limited athletically to never cross the midline on run away if we were worried about play action, an underneath concept coming back to the field. You can see the midline was right here, and he's crossed over. But even if 51's feet were here, you're probably still talking about a situation where underrated effort by Frank Ragnow. I'm not sure if other people have highlighted it. Probably at this point, other Lions content creators or film study people have. They're faking the run zone here to the right. And something in Ragnow's brain, he recognizes, all right, I got no work. Let me peel back here. And look what's developing. I think it's curl off the edge. Ragnow gets just enough of them. This was scary. I thought Goff's front leg yard gain. You did get one more target on an underneath drag route to Jameson Williams later on in the game, 5, 6, 7 yards. I'd like to see the route tree expanded a little bit more in week 2 strategically. Certainly there's other routes out there, don't get me wrong. We saw him run some really tough routes over the middle in 2023. Again, I did a significant video, a lengthy video on Jameson Williams in the offseason. You're welcome to go check that out. I'll try to link both of those up during the course of this video, so you can go back and bookmark them if you want, where I showed him making catches over the middle against the Vikings, one against the Bucks, I believe, in the playoff game. He's a tough guy, and you have to give him credit at this point. I loved how genuine he sounded when he talked in the press conferences and some of the things he said after the game on the field. He just sounded so genuinely excited, and I was selfishly happy to see him perform well because I knew that I'd be able to do a film study video like this. I know you probably felt the same way because it gives the Lions offense a higher ceiling, bottom line. If Jameson Williams can have an impact, if he can make big plays, how many high-level, I'm talking top 15, top 18 corners in the league are going to be worried about him on a stutter go or a vertical? All of them. All of them will be worried about him on a vertical release, to be honest with you, from an outside alignment. Jared Goff will have to make the throw, get it out there. The window will obviously be tighter, less margin for error than we saw on that touchdown for 52 yards. Cool moment, if you ask me, at a time when the offense had just gone 3 and out to start the third quarter. The very next possession on a 3rd and 3, stutter go, gets him. One-on-one coverage on the outside. Most oftentimes, quarters or split field coverages, match coverages, if you will, or man on number 1. So you're going to see a lot of that. Do I expect the balance between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown to be skewed or tipped in Jameson Williams' favor consistently? No. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to end up with 90 or 100 catches, which is what he does every year. But, man, Jameson Williams looks spectacular in week 1. Certainly looks like a guy that can have an impact against all types of defenses, man, zone, match, split field principles. You guys let me know what you thought, how excited you were to see the touchdown and the reverse and the play action for 36 earlier in the game. I was super excited. I'm happy for you guys and for him to see a young man. He's still 23 at this point, which is quite amazing for him to be in the league at this age in his 3rd year. So appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at Jameson Williams, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. I will have an offensive line-focused video out Wednesday evening that'll focus on just end zone angle film. It'll be my first, not my first foray into O-line film study. I know just enough to be dangerous, but it'll be my first foray, I think, into trying to evaluate and talk about the Lions' offensive line in a detailed fashion. Appreciate you guys' time.